Okay, so we're going to create a short photo slideshow in WeVideo. You should have over here in your Google Photos, photo.google.com, or at least on your computer, a collection of photos that you hope sort of tell a story. I have in my album, I created an album, and in the album, I've got a collection of winter photos. Again, a mixture of close-ups and action shots and wide shots and long shots. So it has a variety. I'm hoping to create some sort of sense of winter with the snow. So there's my photos. I've logged in. Here's WeVideo. Again, go to wevideo.com. You've already created an account. We showed the video on how to do that. Don't click on this. Click on Login. And if you've used your Google account when you created it, that's great because it'll ease getting those photos in. So I'm going to log in with Google. And it opens up. And now the first thing is get started. But you'll see, again, in the document, the steps to create this. We're going to create it in a project folder. I've created it. Now look at the dashboard up here. This is your dashboard. You don't have any videos yet. You've got your name. Click on projects. Now projects are like folders. You can have multiple videos in these projects. And everybody's given a project folder. It's called My Projects to begin with. Down here you could create other projects or other folders. There's a shared with me. Now I've shared with all of you a folder called Spring 28 CCV Spring 2018. And this is where you're going to create your videos. So that way I can see them. The other students won't see your videos, but I'll be able to see everybody's videos and your editor. So I'll be able to see the editors, see where maybe you've made mistakes or you might need some help. So that's really helpful. Another way to make sure it's in the projects, if you go back to dashboard, and you hit create new, there's a drop down asking you where you want to put this video. Now it's really important you put it in our CCV 2018 project folder, because if you've created it, you can't move it there later. And it's a real problem again with WeVideo, but make sure we start in the folder CCV Spring 2018. Click Start Editing. So again, you could have started up there or right on that video, the drop down. Now this, just look around. What does this all look like? There's 2 tracks, video tracks. There's an audio track. We can add more tracks later. Don't worry about that. The end of the semester, you'll use this for a final project. We'll get more complicated, but this is just an introduction to it. So make sure, again, that these are some built-in clips. Don't use those. I want to keep this real simple. Please don't use those. Click on the folders over here. Now this is your media. Again, if we were doing a collective project all together, I'd put some shared media in that, but I'm not. So just click on this for now. And just look at all of these options. Again, we're going to add titles. We can add titles. The next video, I'm going to show the music, so don't worry about it yet. And then later on, for the final project, we'll get more fancy and use some of these. But I don't want to see it in this project. I just want to see simple photos, maybe a title and trend and music. So this is, how do we bring in, so I'm going back to this media folder. How do we bring in those photos? As you see up here, there's 3 little options. There's voiceover. We're not going to use that now. We'll use that in the final project. There's record, where we could screen record. We'll do this in another lesson where we're going to record using webcams, but we're not doing this. So click on this, import your media. This is how we're going to get those photos in here. Now, if you click on that, you'll see you can browse and bring them in from your computer. So if you've got that collection on your computer, you can click on that and upload them. Down here, you have from social sites. So here's Google Drive, there's Facebook, Instagram. So if you get a collection of photos that work together in those, use that. Now this is something, it's called Picasa, but this is what Google Photos used to be called. So if you created a photo album in Google Albums, this is actually where it is. So double click on that. We'll click on that. The first time it's going to ask you to allow permission to connect. Click yes. Or click, it might ask for your Google address or name. So click on that. So allow that permission. And so now it's showing my photos. And so I've got photos. I've got an album. So here's the album that I created called Vermont Snow. So I'm going to double click on that. And now I can select a bunch of photos from here. These are the photos I want to use. So again, you just click on the ones you want in your slideshow. Don't, again, like I said, keep it, no 5 to 10, no more than that. We want to keep this short. So again, we're not spending a lot of time importing data. It's just to demonstrate how to do it. So I'm going to hit select. And again, it's going to take, sometimes it takes a little while depending on your internet connection. Be patient. That's why we're try not to use really high resolution photographs. They'll take longer and it could, cause issues for you. So you're going to bring those in. And as you see, it's going into my media. And so here are the photos. And I'm going to drag them down, and to get them into the timeline, again, think about the order you want. So say you have a particular order you want to think about, drag them down. You can always move them later, drag it down there. So I'm going to bring at least 5 to maybe 8, 10 photos down. The ones that you think will work best. And let's go back up here. So how many is that? So I've got 2, 4, 6. I'm just going to leave that for now. Now, again, look around at this editor. See how this works? This is just so you can view it. It's not changing the length of time on anything. It's so you can actually see each clip. So I've got my clips in there. And if I click on one, you'll see it up here in the player. And you can play it. Most of them are 4 or 5 seconds. I'm going to bring it over. Now, if you want to lengthen the time of that, double click on one. Now, the editor for this particular clip opens up. And you see over here, a lot of black borders. I don't want that in my video. So I'm going to make sure it goes to full screen. It gets rid of those black borders, makes it fit the screen. It works really well. Now, don't worry about these other features up here. We'll do that in the final project. So I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to hit it done. Now, if I want it longer, you can actually stretch. Well, let me scroll. Let me look at each one, make sure I don't have, black borders on them. So if you click on them, you can actually check it out. And so that was the only one with the really black border. Now, see the length of time? You can stretch it, make it longer. And let's see if we click on it, there, well, let's see. You can also click on it and let's see if we can change the time here. I thought we could. Oh, you can adjust, again, the color, contrast, the zoom in, fade out. So we'll do that in the final project. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Again, if you look at what this does, it sort of zooms in. If you think it will help your photo. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to click over here. Again, go back to the beginning. The other thing is if you double click up here, let's see, there, okay. Those are just markers, timers. I'm not going to worry too much about that. So I've got my photos here. I can just see how they're going to transform. Most of them are 4 seconds. I'm going to leave it 4 or 5 seconds. That's as long as I want them to be. So next step is how do I get the music in there? And I'll come back and show you that in the next video.